Hello everyone and welcome to Game 3 in a best of 3 series between Happy and Nani here on Tall Dream Altar. I do normally like best of 3 series because I don't know who's going to win. Normally if they split the first 2 games and I have 3 games, I know it's a best of 3, can't predict a winner. Sometimes I do cast the games out of order, and that is not on purpose. I have been reading the comments. I do not purposely cast the games out of order. Sometimes they are just, in fact, mislabeled. And I cast the games not really knowing the results. Anyways, we can see Happy spawning here as the yellow Terran at the 4 or 5 o'clock position. Meanwhile, Nani spawning as the orange Protoss over here at the 2 o'clock position. Nani playing much smarter the second time around, getting in those force fields, getting those colossi, and really able to handle Happy's bio play. Now we'll see what's going to really be happening here on Tall Dream Altar as, Terran bio very effective against Protoss. As long as you're not trying to deal with a lot of colossi and a lot of high templars. If there are a lot of high templars and colossi out, you definitely need your escorts of Vikings and ghosts in addition to your bio. Medivacs, marauders, and marines, all very effective harassment, as we now see Nani pretty much chrono boosting out units. Nothing too out of the ordinary here. Nani perhaps going for a very early Nexus, and this is going to be interesting if he goes for an early Nexus and it actually pays off, and it looks like it will pay off as Happy is now scouting out in the wrong direction. So this is absolutely huge. Nani going for a 16 Nexus here on Tall Dream Altar, and this is going to have large ramifications as Nani is going to have a very strong economic lead in just a moment. Taking a look back at Happy's base, Happy currently just mining away, doing a very standard tech build. He is upgrading to an orbital command. We are going to see a pylon now placed down over here, perhaps trying to create a wall all the way across from here to here, making it very difficult for units to simply run by here or here. And then he can also hide off a lot of tech as both players now finally starting to scout. And it looks as though SCV of Happy is going to scout out and still not find his opponent for quite a bit of time. And by the time he sees that Nexus, his heart is just going to have to drop just a little bit. If there was, for example, Happy going for a Reaper expansion would have been very effective. He could have gotten his own command center up. He could have gotten a Reaper, forced his opponent to not be able to mine very effectively, as the probes would have just been destroyed, as Reapers do have, I believe, the same or slightly faster movement speed than those units there. And now the probe's going to make his way over. And what is this SCB doing? SCB is going to do a little bit of roundabout scouting to figure out where his opponent is. We are getting up a Zealot now. We are going into a Cybernetics core. And you can already see this second Nexus is up and running here. The SCB is going to spot it, is going to spot the Nexus. And his heart has just got to drop, knowing that his opponent has such a strong economic advantage. All he really has now is the ability to perhaps use Banshees and try to use those Banshees in order to get a lot of probe kills and make Nani suffer for just trying to go that hard on economy and just focusing on economy that much. With no Forge in play and no robotics facility in play, it is a very high likelihood that, that no observers and no detection will be revealed in time at all. Starports probably are in the air. Yes, it is. Happy is going to be doing that swap in just a moment. It looks as though we are going to have Cloaked Banshees sometime around the 7-minute mark, as that is about how long it takes to the train up and get Cloak, as that Banshee now being added. Cloak needs to be added. Not quite sure why it is not being started yet. He has the minerals, he has the gas, and with now Happy only training up a Banshee and not going for Cloak, it is going to even further delay all of that strategies there. As you can now see a lot of gateway units coming in. A Hellion very low on hit points now. Looks like it will just get pinned in the corner and destroyed there. Taking a look at the worker kills, only 2 worker kills killed so far, or 2 worker kills so far. Nani sitting at 40 over 52, and meanwhile Happy is sitting at 32 over 35. Out comes a Banshee, but it doesn't look like Cloak will be researched at all. Now we are going into Stalkers, Sentries, and Zealots. We are also going into a Raven as well. Those gateways are going to be upgrading into Warp Gates in just a moment. A Stalker is already being trained. It looks like this one Banshee is going to finish off and this pylon, but it will delay this Banshee just ever so slightly, as Happy going to be able to destroy it and then perhaps pull away in just a moment. Nani does see that Banshee, and now that Banshee is once again on the move off to the north. Stalkers, pylons, maximum energy on Nani's Nexus. This is rather strange, as he should really be trying to chrono boost it here, as the Stalkers, or the Banshee, trying to kill a probe, but the Stalkers and the Sentry were able to arrive in there in just the right amount of time. The Observer joining in, trying to keep track of where that Banshee is, but the Banshee just going to simply walk around the map and do a bit of patrolling. Is the Observer going to spot it? Yes, I do believe the Observer does spot it, but no real map map site there, as a second Observer now being added, and now even a third one. This Banshee now just trying to fly away, and there are some Stalkers down over here. The Stalkers already trying to meet and greet this one Banshee. The Banshee is just going to back off, knowing that its days are pretty much numbered. Salvaging the bunker. There is also a Raven out in the air. The Raven just able to push away that Observer, tried to deny some sight. I believe the Observer was able to spot at least the orbital command, so he knows that both players are on two bases, as the Banshee now going to try to come in, get some damage, perhaps one probe kill. Yes, does get one probe kill, and once again backing off some more. 84 hit points. That Banshee does need to go back, perhaps regroup and retreat just a little bit. Happy now sitting at 61 over 62, 47 probes compared to 33 SCVs. More than 15, or about a 15 Harvester advantage, as we are now going very heavy into gateway units. So Nani now going into 7 gateway units. Perhaps is going to be training up a lot of Zealots, as we are now going into a Colossus, and Nani really trying to press his economic advantage. Vikings are already being added in this group, as the Observer now doing a bit of a flyby to see what it can see, and sees that there is a reactor on the starport. He sees a lot of bioplay. He cannot be happy about this, especially as he's going to spot 2 Vikings coming out from there, as the Banshees are now making their way out. And now you can hear the Marauders attempting to take down these rocks off over here. Colossus just now starting that extended thermal lance range. We are going to see a Banshee off over here. The Banshee getting off an easy kill, but the Stalker was able to finish that off there. Not quite sure what unit that was. It could have been a Sentry or a Probe, and my eyes were just focused somewhere else for just a moment, as more and more Vikings are being added once again. Stalkers really need to be added into this group. Perhaps a Twilight Council with Blink as well, as Nani apparently canceling one of his pylons for no real reason. Perhaps getting in another round of warp in, yes, for even more Stalkers, and building a pylon here in the middle of the battlefield. Should be able to get a very large number, as the Colossi should be able to engage in just a moment. A Marine able to stim away and barely, or get back without a problem, as there is now 4 Vikings in the air to try and meet and greet and destroy those Colossi before those Colossi get that much damage in. Sitting on 11 Stalkers now. The Colossi look to deal some damage. There are Marauders off over here. The Zealots, SCVs, Stalkers are going to try to engage. Oh, and in comes a Guardian Shield. Point defense drone. Force fields preventing. Now the Vikings are going to be focusing down the Colossi. The Colossi, one Colossus will go down. More units are getting destroyed. The Stalkers are now focusing on even more units. The Vikings really need to get destroyed here, as the Stalkers are now just continuing that push, but SCVs able to repair, and Nani without any Colossi just trying to fight back against Marines and Marauders, and Happy doesn't even land any of his Vikings, and Nani taking horrible losses in that engagement, simply not knowing or not able to deal enough damage to that highly densely packed group of units there. You can see seven warp gates are operational. This set of destructible rocks have already been destroyed. Immortals now being added. Twilight Council being added. As what are we going to transition into? 5 Vikings in the air. Marauders, Marines, Zealots, Sentries, Stalkers, and those Immortals are really going to make the difference, most likely, as Immortals deal 50 damage and attack 55 with level 1 weapons upgrade, which I believe is being started now. Twilight Council also being finished, and we should be going into High Templar, as a proxy pylon is going to fall, and Happy just simply trying to clean up, and Happy still not taking up another base just quite yet. 700 resources versus 500. Oh, now in comes some warp-ins. Zealots, 7 Zealots now being warped in as well. So the army of Nani getting replenished very quickly. 57 probes compared to 46 SCVs as the Vikings being forced to back off once more. The Zealots do not have charge, but it is being started. We are going into a Mobius reactor again, and will Happy have those clutch EMP shockwaves as he did in game 1? We'll see how this is all going to unfold. 14 Marauders, a lot of medevacs, and Vikings in the air. As Happy now sitting on several bunkers, going to try to defend, as we should be seeing another command center being started. Yeah, and the command center is off over here. It will be lifted up and landing off over here in just a moment, as we are seeing observers doing a bit of patrolling, and we'll see where this proxy pylon will be placed down. Vikings now on the hunt for those Colossus. There's one proxy pylon, an observer still flying around. Are we going to see that one Viking? Is it going to spot the observer ever so barely? You can see the observer and its outline. The observer deciding to back off here. Zealots, Stalkers, and Sentries now backing off as well, as these rocks have yet to be cleared. Not quite sure why Nani hasn't cleared them yet. He needs to clear them, start setting up a Nexus before he pushes out, and it looks like he's going to be doing exactly that, as we are now going into level 2 weapons and level 2 armor upgrades. Stalker's going to finish off this rocks in just a moment here. Very easy, especially with the help of an Immortal. And both players now attempting to establish their all-important third base. Happy slightly ahead, as he is going to be lifting up and landing his orbital command there. Zealots, Immortals, and Stalkers once again on the move. Stalkers, Zealots, Sentries. We'll see how this is all going to unfold. There is a proxy pylon off to the north, and Happy does not see that pylon. In comes some High Templars, and we are going to merge them into Archons already. The High Templars could perhaps get some feedback. There is a Ghost, I heard, so some EMP shockwaves could be coming in, as now if the High Templar is able to get off a feedback onto a high energy Ghost, that would be huge, or even trying to take down a medevac, that would be huge. More High Templars still being added. It looks like it is just going to be a merging of Archons there. There you go. We're going to have 3 Archons in this group in order to try to fight back against all of this bio. And now this orbital command is taking a beating already, going to get destroyed in a matter of seconds. Mass Zealots able to take it down there. And now Happy is behind. Overall, he just salvaged all of his bunkers, and there's not much he can really do. Not many minerals were mined off of this base at all. Maybe 100, 200 max, as Nani sitting very comfortably at a 184 over 198 compared to 164 in this pivotal game 3. Armor upgrades now completed. Marines and Marauders are upgraded 1-1, but that is not good news, as Nani is going to be 2-2, if not 2-3 in just a moment, as those Archons going to be able to deal 43 damage per attack with a little bit of splash against this massive bio army here. Marines, Marauders, and Ghost even joining in on this fight. And it's really going to come down to Micro now. Micro going to make a very big difference. Who can get those EMP shockwaves or Psy Storms off? Who can focus down and really get the most mileage out of each of those units? If those Colossi are able to hit the main Bioforce with level 3 weapons upgrade, it may be enough to just soften it up for a Psy Storm to follow up and completely decimate all those units, as we are now going into 2 additional robotics facilities. We are almost at maximum food, and now in comes the engagement. Archons going to perhaps try to engage against those Vikings. The Vikings now chasing after the units. Zealot deciding to back off, as Happy now sitting on a very, very large army, and he does have the slightly larger army at this point. 2 Colossi now being trained. They need to be chrono boosted out. Here is another Colossus here. Is it going to be enough, as the Marauders and the Marines are able to hit up onto the high ground, but the Vikings are in ground mode. This is a horrible, horrible mistake. Vikings all in ground mode, and Happy is in trouble, I think. The Archons are going to be able to rip through this. The Colossi in the backfield, and Happy does have a lot of Marines and Marauders still. but the Colossus is just going to be a little bit too much as a new round of Zealots able to surround and charge in on all of these units. You can see that the medevacs are going to try to run away. They will be able to do so, and they are going to try to retreat. No, just a feigning pressure here, as we are now going to have 4 Colossi. Nani with a huge advantage, and Happy with a horrible mistake, landing his Vikings against Colossus. 3-3 upgrades about to be completed, and I think Nani can almost just attack move with this army of 3 Colossus in just a moment. He has enough, not quite sure. Oh, he just wants to warp in some more units in midfield, getting in some more High Templars as well. Still no Psystorm whatsoever, now merging in Archons, as we can see that there are the Archons off over here, and now it's gonna be another engagement and another destruction of this orbital command. There are some Ghosts gonna try to engage over here. In comes the Archons, in come the Zealots. Rinse and repeat of what happened about 5 minutes ago. Zealots gonna try to engage, and the orbital command taking a lot of damage already, and there's Happy with the GG. Happy losing game 3 after taking game 1, and then unable to compete with Nani in the following 2 games. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.